๊tʰoː.mas is a German footballer who plays for Bayern Munich and the German national team. ๊tʰoː plays as a midfielder or forward, and has been deployed in a variety of attacking roles as an attacking midfielder, second striker, and on either wing. He has been praised for his positioning, teamwork and stamina, and has shown consistency in scoring and creating goals. A product of Bayern's youth system, he made his first team breakthrough in the 2009 Euro 10 season after Louis van Gaal was appointed as the main coach. He played almost every game as the club won the league and cup double and reached the Champions League final. This accomplishment earned ๊tʰoː a call-up to the German national team. At the 2010 World Cup he scored 5 goals in 6 appearances as Germany finished in third place. He was named the best young player of the tournament and won the Golden Boot as the tournament's top scorer, with 5 goals and 3 assists. He also scored Bayern's only goal in the Champions League final in 2012, with the team eventually losing on penalties. Club career: early career, born in Walheim, ๊tʰoː played as a youth for TSV Parkourense HL, and at the age of 10 he made the 50 km journey to join local Bundesliga side Bayern Munich in 2000. He progressed through the youth system and was part of the team that finished runner-up in the Under-19 Bundesliga in 2007. He made his debut for the reserve team in March 2008 when he replaced Stefan SStner in a Regionalliga match against SpVgg Unterhaching, in which he scored. He made 2 more Regionalliga appearances in the 2007 Euro 08 season, while continuing to play for the Under-19 team. The following season, Bayern's second string qualified for the newly formed 3. Liga, and ๊tʰoː established himself as a key player. He played in 32 out of 38 matches and scored 15 times to make him the league's 5th top scorer. He also became involved in the first team under then-manager ๊tʰoː Klinsmann. He appeared in pre-season friendlies, and made his full debut on August 15, 2008, when he came on as a substitute for Miroslav Klose for the last 10 minutes of a Bundesliga match against Hamburger SV. Despite ๊tʰoː feeling that his performance did not go well, he made 3 more Bundesliga appearances that season and made his Champions League debut on March 10, 2009 when he was substituted on in the 72nd minute for Bastian Schweinsteiger in a 7-1 win over Sporting Camp. He scored Bayern's last goal as they won the tie 12-1 on aggregate. Bayern Munich. In February 2009, ๊tʰoː signed his first contract for the senior team, a 2-year deal effective from the 2009 Euro 10 season, along with reserve teammate Holger Badstuber. He was prepared to be loaned or even transferred away to find first-team football, but when Louis van Gaal was appointed manager, both players became fixtures in the Bayern first team from the start of the season. In the first few matches ๊tʰoː was a regular substitute, and on September 12, 2009, he was brought on against Borussia Dortmund and scored 2 goals in a 5-1 victory. 3 days later, he scored another brace in a 3-0 Champions League victory over Maccabi Haifa. He rounded off September by being named the Bundesliga Player of the Month and earned praise from his namesake, legendary former Bayern and Germany striker Gerd ๊tʰoː. After the Haifa match, ๊tʰoː was in the starting 11 for almost every match, only missing 1 match a Champions League match against Bordeaux, for which he was suspended, because he was sent off in an earlier match against the same team. In February 2010, ๊tʰoː signed a new contract with Bayern Munich through 2013. During the second half of the season, ๊tʰoː continued to be a regular first-team starter, usually playing in a central striking role due to the availability of other wide players Frank Rieber, copywriter Y and Arjen Robben. In April 2010, he scored the second goal in a 2-1 win against title rivals Schalke 04, and in the penultimate league match of the season, he scored the first hat-trick of his career, in a 3-1 win over Bochum which effectively secured the German title for Bayern. The title was confirmed a week later with a 3-1 win at Hertha BSC, a match which ๊tʰoː started. For the season he played in all 34 Bundesliga matches, starting 29, and recorded 13 goals and 11 assists. Bayern and ́mыः van were back in Berlin the following week, to face Werder Bremen in the final of the DFB Pokal. ́mыः van started the match and Bayern won for a Euro-0 to complete the domestic double. ́mыः van scored 4 goals and made 2 assists during the competition, which made him its leading scorer for the season. Bayern's season ended in pursuit of a first treble, in the 2010 Champions League final against Internacional at the Santiago Bernabéu Copyright U in Madrid. It was not to be, however, as they lost to a Euro-0, with both goals coming from Diego Milito. ́mыः van was in the starting lineup and had a key chance just after half-time, with Bayern 1 a Euro-0 down, but his shot was saved by January Leo Carr copyright czar. ́mыः van felt particularly disappointed by this defeat, but he ended his first season as a first-team player with 52 matches played and 19 goals in all competitions. In a poll conducted by the sports magazine Kicker, he was voted by his fellow professionals as the best newcomer of the 2009 Euro 10 season and was named in the Bundesliga Team of the Season. ́mыः van credits Van Gaal for having had the biggest part to play in his rise to success a Euro. The coach arrived with a reputation for promoting youth team players, particularly at Ajax, and consistently gave ́mыः van his chance in the first team, going as far to say ́mыः van spilt bei mir immer. ́mыः van, in return, described Van Gaal as a genius technician, who makes players improve every time. 2010 Euro 11 season. ́mыः van returned from his post-World Cup break to sign another contract extension, this time extending his stay at Bayern until 2015. As with all of Bayern's World Cup participants, he missed much of pre-season, and his first match back was the Super Cup against Schalke 04 on August 7. He was named in the starting 11, and scored the opening goal in a 2-0 win. 2 weeks later he scored the opening goal of Bayern's league season in a 2-1 home win against VfL Wolfsburg. ́mыः van played in every match of the first half of the season, usually as a starter, but as the team struggled for results, ́mыः van was unable to match the previous season's goal-scoring exploits, being dropped to the bench, and even receiving a telling off from Louis van Gaal after missing an easy chance in a 2-0 defeat against 1. FC Kaiserslautern in August. He was philosophical about this dip in form, though, and after 8 league games without a goal, he scored in a 4-1 win against Eintracht Frankfurt on November 27. He followed that by scoring in consecutive league and cup wins against VfB Stuttgart 3 weeks later. These goals took his tally to 8 goals in all competitions and included a spectacular goal to open the scoring in a 2-0 Champions League victory against Roma on September 15. As his team was on its winter break, ́mыः van was left to reflect on what he described as an almost unbelievable first year as a pro. ́mыः van began the second half of the season in good form, but was involved in an altercation with teammate Arjen Robben, who was angered when ́mыः van showed his displeasure at a poor free kick Robben took during a 3-1 win at Werder Bremen. ́mыः van again played in every game of the season and scored 19 goals, but the season was less successful for Bayern, as they finished third in the league, and were knocked out of the DFB Pokal in the semi-finals by Schalke 04 and in the round of 16 of the UEFA Champions League by Internacional. Bayern had won 1-0 in the San Siro, and ́mыः van scored 31 minutes into the second leg to make it 3-1 on aggregate, but Inter levelled the score at 3-3 in the 88th minute, to go through on the away goals rule. ́mыः van's mentor Van Gaal was increasingly criticised for inflexibility in tactical, transfer and selection policy, and ultimately lost his job, being replaced with Jupp Heynckes. 2011 Euro 12 season. In Bayern's first DFB Pokal game ́mыः van was awarded the man of the match after earning 2 penalties which were converted by Mario ́tʰoː.mas and Bastian Schweinsteiger. ́mыः van then added a third in the closing stages to secure a 3-0 victory over Eintracht Braunschweig. It took ́mıy̅l낳 5 matches for him to get his first league goal. He scored it against Schalke 04 in Bayern's 2-0 win. ́mıy̅l낳 then scored in Bayern's next home game in the early stages of the match. Bayern went on to win the game 3-0. On November 26, 2011, ́mıy̅l낳 netted the opener on the half-hour in Bayern's 6-0 thrashing of FC Ingolstadt 04, giving him his second DFB Pokal goal. ́mıy̅l낳 was on the shortlist of this year's FIFA Ballon d'Or award. On 10th and 15th January, in Bayern's warm-up friendlies, ́mıy̅l낳 scored 3 goals in 2 games, a brace against the Indian national team and 1 goal in Bayern's other 4-0 victory over Rot-Weiss Erfurt. ́mıy̅l낳 provided 2 assists in Bayern's win over VfB Stuttgart in the DFB Pokal. On February 11, Bayern played 1. FC Kaiserslautern and ́mıy̅lŻ ended a goal drought lasting since September 24, 2011 with a header in their 2-0 victory. On March 31, 2012, ́mıy̅lŻ played his 100th Bundesliga game against 1. FC now 1/4 RNBERG. On May 19, 2012, ́mıy̅lŻ scored the opening goal in the UEFA Champions League final against Chelsea FC. With a powerful header. He was substituted shortly afterwards. Bayern Munich however lost the final on penalties. ́mıy̅lŻ stated how dissatisfied he was about the amount of time he had spent on the bench recently. ́mıy̅lŻ said that although he was dissatisfied he wanted to stay at Bayern. 2012 Euro 13 season. ́mıy̅lŻ's first Bundesliga goal of the season came over to Bundesliga champions SpVgg grew the far 1/4 ʻtʰoː in Bayern's 3-0 victory on August 27, 2012. On September 2, he netted a brace as Bayern thrashed southern rivals Stuttgart, 6-1, in front of 71,000 at the newly expanded Allianz Arena. ́mıy̅lŻ helped Bayern achieve a record-breaking start to the league season, when he netted a brace over newly promoted Fortuna Düsseldorf on October 20 in their 5-0 victory, recording Bayern's 8th successive win. 3 days later, he scored his first Champions League goal of the season, netting from the penalty spot, as Bayern defeated Lille 1-0 at the French side's newly built Grand Stade Lille Copyright Tripole. On December 13, after his good run of form in the first half of the Bundesliga season, ́mıy̅lŻ pledged his allegiance, claiming he was at home in Munich and that there is no club to step up from when you leave FC Bayern. There almost is no better club. 6 days later, he signed a 2-year contract extension, keeping him at the Allianz Arena until 2017. At the winter break in the Bundesliga, he had 9 goals and 7 assists in 16 league appearances and a further 3 goals in the Champions League, giving him a total of 13 goals halfway through the season, including his strike against Borussia Dortmund in Bayern's win in the 2012 DFL Super Cup. ́mıy̅lŻ scored his first goal in Bayern's second game back from the break in a 2-0 away win over VfB Stuttgart. ́mıy̅lŻ tapped in his 5th goal of the Champions League campaign on April 2, completing a 2-0 first-leg defeat of Juventus in the quarter-finals, ending the Italian club's 18-match unbeaten record in Europe. On April 23, 2013, ́mıy̅lŻ scored 2 goals and gave 1 assist in 4-0 win against FC Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final in the Allianz Arena. On the return fixture, ́mıy̅lŻ scored a header as Bayern won 3-0 and gave Barcelona their biggest defeat ever in the UEFA Champions League, with a 7-0 aggregate score. ́mıy̅lŻ then went on to play an important role in Bayern's 2-1 victory over Borussia Dortmund in the final. On June 1, ́mıy̅lŻ scored a penalty in the final of the 2012 Euro 13 DFB Pokal. Bayern won the Cup 3-2 to complete a historic treble. ́mıy̅lŻ scored 23 goals overall in the season, netting 13 in the Bundesliga, 1 in the Pokal and an impressive 8 in the Champions League. He also added 1 in the 2012 DFL Super Cup which Bayern won 2-1. This topped off ́mıy̅l낳's highest scoring season to date. 2013 Euro 14 season. ́mıy̅l낳 began the 2013 Euro 14 season by scoring in 7 of Bayern's 12 pre-season games. On August 5, ́mıy̅l낳 scored a hat-trick as Bayern won 5-0 in the team's 2013 Euro 14 DFB Pokal first-round game against Schwarzweiß Rieden. In Bayern's opening 2013 Euro 14 Bundesliga fixture, ́mıy̅l낳 missed a penalty for the first time. Seconds later, the save from the penalty flecked the hand of ́lvari ťoː.mas, which resulted in another penalty which David Alaba converted. After this, ́mıy̅l낳 stated, "I am still happy to take penalties, but I think David Alaba is the main man for spot kicks for now." On September 25, against Hannover 96 in the second round of the DFB Pokal, ́mıy̅lŻ scored twice, taking his cup tally to 5 goals in just 2 games. On September 28, ́mıy̅lŻ scored the only goal in a 1-0 victory over VfL Wolfsburg, giving him his first goal in the 2013 Euro 14 Bundesliga. ́mıy̅lŻ scored his first 2013 Euro 14 UEFA Champions League goal of the campaign, and Bayern defeated Manchester City 3-1 at the City of Manchester Stadium on October 2. On May 17, 2014, ́mıy̅lŻ scored Bayern's second goal in a 2-0 extra-time defeat of Borussia Dortmund in the 2014 DFB Pokal final, giving Die Rotten the 10th league and cup double in their history. ́mıy̅lŻ finished as the tournament's top scorer with 8 goals in 5 appearances. In June 2014, he signed a new contract keeping him at Bayern until 2019. International career. ́mıy̅lŻ represented Germany at various youth levels, starting with the under-16s in 2004. In August 2009, he was called up to the under-21 team for his debut in a 3-1 friendly defeat against Turkey. He earned 6 caps for the under-21s and scored 1 goal, the 8th in an 11-0 thrashing of San Marino. In October of the same year, ́mıy̅l낳's regular appearances for Bayern's first team caused German national team manager Joachim Löw to publicly consider him for a call-up, despite initial reluctance from the Bayern Munich board. The following month, ́mıy̅lŻ was named in the squad for a friendly against ๊tʰoː.mas. However, this coincided with the death of national team goalkeeper Robert Enke, which led to the cancellation of a match against Chile the same week. With less opportunity to try out new players, and with the under-21 team facing crucial qualifiers for the 2011 European Championship, ́W and under-21 manager Rainer Adrian felt that ́mıy̅lŻ was needed at the under-21 level, and ́mıy̅lŻ was called back into the under-21s. He was back in the senior squad for its next get-together, a training session in Sindelfingen in January 2010, and was named in the squad for the following match, a friendly against Argentina in March. He made his debut in this game in the starting 11 at the Allianz Arena, his home stadium. He was substituted in the 66th minute for fellow debutant Toni Kroos as Germany lost 1-0. 2010 World Cup, ́mıy̅lŻ was named in Germany's provisional 27-man squad for the 2010 World Cup along with 7 other Bayern Munich players. Despite suffering a scare when he fell off his bicycle at the team's training camp in South Tyrol, ́mıy̅lŻ only received superficial injuries and made the final cut for the tournament when the squad was reduced to 23 players. He was allocated the number 13, normally worn by injured captain Michael Ballack, and previously worn by ́mıy̅l낳's eponym Gerd. He earned his second international cap in the final warm-up match before the World Cup when he came on as a half-time substitute for Piotr Trokowski in a 3-1 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. He started the first game of Germany's World Cup campaign and scored the third goal his first internationally in a 4-0 win over Australia, winning Germany's Goal of the Month award in the process. He played in all Germany's group games, as they finished top of Group D. He scored twice and assisted once in the 4-1 victory over England in the round of 16. In the third minute of Germany's 4-0 quarter-final win against Argentina, He opened the scoring with his fourth tournament goal. However, he picked up his second booking of the tournament in the first half, for a handball, and was suspended for the semi-final defeat against Spain. ʻtʰoː.mas said that he felt far more nervous during the Spain game than any he was able to play. He returned to the team for the third-place playoff against Uruguay and scored the first goal, his fifth of the tournament, as Germany won 3-2 to take the bronze medals. The team's success was a culmination of a series of changes made after the national team's failure at Euro 2000. The Germans emphasized a more open, attack-minded style not previously associated with Germany, and included prominent young players, including ʻtʰoː.mas, Sami Khedira and Mesut Ozil. With 5 goals, ʻtʰoː.mas ended as joint top goal scorer of the tournament. He earned the Golden Boot with these goals and his 3 assists. He also won the Best Young Player award over fellow nominees André Ayew of Ghana and Giovanni dos Santos of Mexico. For both awards, he succeeded a German teammate, Miroslav Klose and Lukas Podolski, respectively, from 2006. In October 2010, he was named on the shortlist for the FIFA Ballon d'Or award along with 4 of his Germany teammates. Reflecting on his World Cup success, ʻtʰoː.mas said, "I basically got lucky, I hit form at just the right time." Euro 2012, ʻtʰoː.mas started all 10 of Germany's qualifiers for Euro 2012, as the team qualified for the finals with a 100% record. ʻtʰoː.mas provided assists for 7 goals, 3 of which came in a 6-2 win over Austria in September 2011, which secured Germany's qualification for the finals with 2 games to spare. He scored 3 times in the campaign, 2 goals coming in a 4-0 win over Kazakhstan in March 2011, the third in a 3-1 win over Turkey in October of the same year. ʻtʰoː.mas was included in Joachim Löw's squad for Euro 2012, where the Germans were knocked out in the semi-finals by Italy. 2014 World Cup, ʻtʰoː.mas scored his first World Cup qualifying goals on March 22, 2013, scoring Germany's opener and final goal in a 3-0 away win over Kazakhstan. He also scored in the 3-0 victories over Austria and Faroe Islands to give him 4 goals in Germany's successful qualification campaign. On June 16, 2014, in Germany's opening match of the 2014 FIFA World Cup, ʻtʰoː.mas scored the first hat-trick of the tournament and was named man of the match in a 4-0 win against Portugal. In addition, he was also the target of Pepe's headbutt in the 37th minute, in response to a dive by Müller, which resulted in the Portuguese defender being sent off. He denied that he had overplayed the situation, leading to the red card. On June 26, ʻtʰoː.mas scored the only goal of the final group match against the United States to help the Germans win Group G. On July 8, he scored Germany's opening goal in the 7-1 semi-final defeat of Brazil. This goal was Germany's 2000th goal in its history. ʻtʰoː.mas has now scored at least 5 goals in each of his first 2 World Cups, making him only the 3rd player to do so. With the goal, he has tied Helmut Rahn with 10 World Cup goals. Playing style, ʻtʰoː.mas' role can be described as an attacking all-rounder, a player able to play in a variety of forward positions. As he came through the youth system, he was seen primarily as a midfielder, but since breaking into the first team he has been used in more forward roles. Both Bayern Munich and the Germany national team usually play a 4-2-3-1 formation, and ʻtʰoː.mas is most often part of the 3 attacking midfielders behind the central striker. He can play in any of the attacking midfield roles but usually plays in the centre for Bayern Munich, and on the right for Germany. He has been used as an out-and-out striker on occasion. ʻtʰoː.mas has been praised for his maturity, pace, technique, awareness and positioning. He has been particularly noted for his composure. Germany manager Joachim Löw said he is impervious to pressure, and former Bayern manager Louis van Gaal said he has tremendous mental strength. A consistent scorer and creator of goals, he describes himself as a player who can find gaps in the opposition defense but not particularly good at dribbling or one-on-ones. ʻtʰoː.mas describes this role as Raumdeuter, a term that translates to interpreter of space. During 2014 World Cup, Germany manager Joachim Löw paragraph W stated that ʻtʰoː is a very unorthodox player and you can't really predict his lines of running, but he has one aim and that is, how can I score a goal? Personal life: ʻtʰoː was born in Walheim, Upper Bavaria, and grew up in the nearby village of Parkharenc, which became the center of media attention during his World Cup exploits. His parents are named Claudia and Gerard, and he has a brother, named Simon, who is 2.5 years younger. He married girlfriend Lisa Treed, a German model, in December 2009, after being engaged for 2 years. In June 2011 he became an ambassador for Young Wings, a charity that helps children who have suffered bereavement or trauma. Career statistics, club, as of May 17, 2014. 1. Includes statistics from UEFA Champions League and UEFA Super Cup. 2. Includes statistics from DFL Super Cup and FIFA Club World Cup. International, as of July 8, 2014. International goals, scores and results table list Germany's goal tally first. Honours, Club, Bayern Munich, Bundesliga, 2009 Euro 10, 2012 Euro 13, 2013 Euro 14, DFB Pokal, 2009 Euro 10, 2012 Euro 13, 2013 Euro 14, DFL Super Cup, 2010, 2012, UEFA Champions League, 2012 Euro 13. Runner-up, 2009 Euro 10, 2011 Euro 12, UEFA Super Cup, 2013, FIFA Club World Cup, 2013, Country, Germany, FIFA World Cup 3rd place, 2010, Individual, FIFA World Cup 2010 Man of the Match, versus England, versus Uruguay, FIFA World Cup Golden Boot, 2010, FIFA World Cup 2010 Most Assists, FIFA World Cup Best Young Player, 2010, Bayerischer Sportpreis, 2010, Silbernes-Lorbeerblatt, 2010, World Soccer Young Player of the Year, 2010, Bravo Award, 2010, FIFA Ballon d'Or, 15th place 2010, 13th place 2011, 17th place 2013, ESM Team of the Year, 2012 Euro 13, UEFA Best Player in Europe Award 2013, FIFA World Cup 2014 Man of the Match, versus Portugal, versus United States, references. External links, official website, German national team profile, ʻtʰoː.mas at Fußballdaten, ʻtʰoː.mas at national-football-teams.com, ʻtʰoː.mas Euro FIFA competition record, ʻtʰoː.mas Euro UEFA competition record, ʻtʰoː.mas at ESPN FC.